Joining us now, Tennessee Congresswoman Diane Black. She's a member of the Congressional Pro-Life Caucus, author of the bill to defund Planned Parenthood, and she's been a nurse for the past 40 years. Welcome. Great to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Emma. It's great to be with you.
Talk to me for a moment about the efforts to block the funding for Planned Parenthood. I know that this was perceived as a hard fight in the House, but you had enough votes there to pull this off.
I did, and it was bipartisan, which I'm proud to say. And I want to be clear what this bill does. It places a moratorium on Planned Parenthood's funding for the period of 1 year while Congress investigates the activities that are potentially illegal that we've seen in these undercover videos. Now, I know that the other side cannot defend these videos, so they try to say a lot of things that are not true, and that is that we're going to take away women's health care. First of all, that is not so, because there are other community health clinics out there. For every one Planned Parenthood clinic, there are some 20 health care centers that are federally qualified that can take up the slack that's there. In addition to that, we're putting another $235 million into women's health services, so not a dime will be lost. No woman should be without services. And in addition to that, the final thing is that we have in the bill provided that if Planned Parenthood says we will stop doing abortions, they will get the money for their clinics, but they have to stop doing abortions while we're doing this investigation.
So for this interim, the funds that would normally have gone to Planned Parenthood, they would be directed to other agencies that provide health services, right?
That is correct, and there are some 13,500 of those agencies across the country in rural areas that provide very comprehensive preventative women's health care. There are only 700 Planned Parenthood facilities, and there are 13,500 federally qualified health centers across the country.
Talk to me for a moment about, what you think helped you gain support from the other side not to make this simply a partisan issue, where you were able to get bipartisan support for the passage of this bill in the House.
I encourage people to go and watch the videos, because unless you've seen the videos, it's awfully hard to really know the horrendous activity that's taking place there. But I think, even if you're pro-abortion, if you watch these videos, the despicable activity of selling fetal tissue, of performing procedures that are unlawful, such as performing a procedure that is not used for other abortions, but specifically for a fetus, recovering fetal tissue, such as when they say we'll crunch from above and we'll crunch from below so that we can resume taking out the portion that we want. That's against the law. And so that's our job in Congress, is to make sure that people are abiding by the law, especially if they're getting taxpayer dollars to the tune of $500 million, $500 million a year. We want to be sure that they are abiding by the law.
All this is teeing up for a real showdown with the White House. The Senate still has to vote, but the president's going to promise a veto on this one, as far as he says right at this point. How do you plan to overcome this hurdle, or is this just a symbolic vote from your perspective?
No, it's not a symbolic vote. First of all, it is our job to do the investigation when we believe there's been illegal activity, especially where there are taxpayer dollars that are being used. We also want the American people to actually see what is happening so that they will know, and we can win the hearts and minds of people about what's happening in Planned Parenthood behind the closed doors. But also, we want to be sure that this gets to the president's desk so we can show just where his values are, where his support is, and we have other ways that we can also get this to the president's desk. This is just one of them, and this is just the beginning.
You really just want to hold him really accountable for, what's at stake here, and you want him to actually have to face that head on.
I certainly do. I just dare him, as the American people see these videos, and whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, pro-life or pro-choice, I think you will agree that the inhumane activity that is on these videos is not something that we can accept here in the United States.
Congresswoman, always great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. Keep us posted.
It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.